A drafting view in Revit is used to draw two-dimensional details inside of the three-dimensional Revit environment. Traditionally, a Revit model is a three-dimensional view, but a drafting view is not. It's actually a two-dimensional view, and it looks like a blank sheet of paper that you draw on top of. To create one of these views, you need to move underneath the View tab on the ribbon, come over, and select Drafting View. When you do this, it'll ask, what do you want to name the drafting view? And in this case, I'm going to call it Example Drafting View. I could pick a different scale if I wanted to. In this case, it's 1.5 inches equals a foot. I kind of like that scale, so I'll leave it as it is. But I will point out that if I select on it, you'll get a drop-down list with all those different scales, as well as the word custom, which means you can create your own custom scale for this drafting view, or you could consider it a drafting detail. I like it at this scale, so I'm just going to click somewhere out here, and then select on the word OK. And this opens up or creates that new blank drafting view. And once again, this is just like a blank white sheet of paper. So because of that, it means we can come underneath the Annotate tab and then either use our dimensioning tools, our detail lines, our regions, as well as our detail components to draw different kinds of details here inside of the drafting view. In this instance, just to show how you can draw inside of it, I'm going to select on Detail Lines underneath Annotate. I'm going to select on the Line tool, and then I'm going to draw a line in, hit Escape a couple of times, Detail Line again, pick on the Circle command, draw in a circle. I hit Escape once on the keyboard, select on the Arc command, and then draw in an arc, and hit Escape a couple times on the keyboard. The point of this is that you can do two-dimensional drawing inside of the Revit environment by creating these drafting views. Another use for the drafting view is if you have pre-drawn AutoCAD details. Maybe you've been using your other CAD software packages such as AutoCAD for years and you have your own library of symbology and details and that kind of information. Well, you can bring those into a drafting view, and then from a drafting view, those can get inserted in onto your different construction document sets. Another way that you can create these drafting views is by using what's called a callout. And to do that, underneath the project browser, I'd like to move to this full building section and double click underneath the word sections, full building section. This brings up one of the exterior elevations of the building. It's actually a section going through the building. And what I'd like to do is create a callout view right in this area. You would typically use this if we wanted to detail out the way the construction was in this particular spot. And to do that, we can come underneath the View tab and select on the word Callout. Next, don't click again until you put a check mark in Reference Other View. What this allows us to do is we can pick maybe one of those drafting views that we already created. If we had brought in an AutoCAD detail into the drafting view, we can then select that drafting view with the AutoCAD detail and create that link between the callout and that drafting view. In this case, though, I'd just like to create a new drafting view. Next, I'm going to click once here, and then click again. It's now created a new drafting view, and we can see that as well underneath the project browser, and it's called Callout a Full Building Section. If we wanted to give this a different name, we could. It would just be a matter of right-clicking on this and then going to Rename. In this case, though, I'm not going to actually rename it, but it's always good practice once you've created a condition like this to right-click on it, go to Rename, and give it a name that everyone will be able to recognize. Now, because we do have this view, and I just clicked out into space to get out of that, if I double-click here where it has Callout to the Full Building Section, instead of what a callout usually does, which is create an enlarged detail of this view, we just told it to create a new drafting view, which means it's now created a new drafting view, a blank sheet of paper, where we can draw in the way that that particular part of the building should be detailed out. So drafting views are two-dimensional drawing areas like a blank sheet of paper where you can either insert in outside CAD information or use your different annotation tools to draw in a variety of different details that otherwise you wouldn't need to model inside of a Revit environment.